Hey guys, Russ here with bishopswest.com. It's been a minute, but a couple years ago I made a video about Soundspot plugins and using those with Bitwig, and something kind of major has changed with that. So I wanted to just do a quick update on that and maybe do an updated review of those two. So let's get started. So let's start with the history. A couple years ago when I made that video, the issue was that Soundspot plugins, specifically these two that I was looking at, Nebula and Oracle, made use of an LFO to control a lot of the settings. Now, this is a fantastic feature and it works really well the way they have it set up. But the issue was that when I put it into Bitwig Studio and started playing, the LFO would run for, now I'm trying to remember, I think it was 8 bars exactly, and then it would just stop running. And I didn't know why, still not super clear why, but it was something where Bitwig Studio and Soundspot, they just weren't working well together. When I put the Soundspot plugin into Studio One, it worked fine. And so, of course that led me to believe that something was wrong with Bitwig. So, I just kept my eye on it, didn't really use those plugins a whole lot, mostly because of that. But I just kept wondering about why it was. That was always kind of in the back of my mind. Well, fast forward to late January of this year, and version 3.3.2 came out, and reading through the changelog, lo and behold, there's this one way down here close to the bottom, VST2, we now support infinite tail sizes for sequencer style plugins that would never sleep. To me, that sounded hopeful. And so, of course, as soon as I saw that, I opened up Bitwig and put Nebula onto one of my tracks, got the LFO going and everything, and I just pressed play. And sure enough, at the end of 8 bars, it kept playing. So I've just got a simple snare in here, and I'll just press play so you can hear. So there you go, it's still running. So that was my main complaint with Soundspot plugins, at least the ones that use this LFO as a big part of the way it's set up. To me, this is just a really cool thing, and I like the way they've implemented it. So let's just take a few minutes and dive in a little bit deeper just so I can show you kind of what it's doing and let you hear. And then, you can decide for yourself. But by the way, these plugins, you can get them on sale at Plugin Boutique every once in a while. I wouldn't pay full price for them, but when they're on sale for super cheap, yeah, they're a good thing to have in your mix, I think. So let's look at the delay. I think I mentioned in that first video, one of the things that I really like about these plugins is their interface. It just, to me, it's really clear and easy to see what's going on. So for example, this one, you can hear, but you can also see this is quarter note delay, right? If I decrease this, increase the feedback. The other thing is that you can change, triplets or dotted triplets. Okay, the other cool thing on this is that you can disconnect, unlink the right and the left and change this. So I might have something like this, but change that. Okay. So, like I said, to me, this interface is just cool. You're able to see exactly what's going on. I mean, could they make it better? Yeah, of course. Like, there's no easy way that I saw to do. Well, I was going to say there's no easy way to do a ping pong, but that's kind of what this is doing, if you think about it. It's just that it's not a true ping pong where it's alternating between left and right, but it's like a fake ping pong delay, I guess. Okay. Then you've got your filter. You can kind of hear that on what I was just doing. Let's basically get rid of it for the most part. Okay, so that's the delay. For me, this is the main aspect of this plugin, although really it is a multi-effects plugin. This LFO target, as far as I know, it can only target one thing at a time. So right now I've got this targeting the delay mix. It might be kind of hard to hear, but let's see if I can play around with this and get it so it's easy to hear that it's actually getting rid of the delay right at the very end here. I think you can hear that, right? So hopefully that makes sense. These are just the shapes. You're able to reverse the shape. Then the range is kind of, I guess, like a mix, like how much it affects the signal coming through. And then your time. The other thing it can affect is the amplitude. Oh, well, you can't really hear it because it's only got I've only got one snare per bar at this point, but this actually affects the amplitude of the signal coming through, which, you've got a few shapes here. I almost want to call it like a poor man's LFO tool. Some other stuff to look at. It's got a chorus, which mono, stereo. It's probably kind of hard to hear. With the snare. And then it's also got a flanger. Oops. There we go. Okay. And then it's got a filter for the whole plugin, which can be handy for just having a bunch of this stuff all in one place. And like I said, this said a couple times already, this LFO can target anything. So, it's worth playing around with. Maybe you want it just to affect the chorus or the flanger. I've used it with the filter, having it change the low pass or the high pass of the filter. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so this is Nebula. This is Oracle. This is very much just a reverb plugin. But again, the thing I like about these Soundspot plugins is the graphics. Look at this imaging. It just gives you such a good idea of what's happening. You can hear that, right? It's going down the center. Or you can get it all the way out to the sides. Okay, just kind of keeping it. You can link or unlink the side and mid positions to do some interesting stuff. Here's a reverb going to the left there. And then of course you've got a filter cut that you can use. And then what's nice about this one is it's got some nice saturation built in. Sorry, it's a little bit annoying. It's got the LFO tool again. Hear that? Oh, it's just going down to 0. And then it's got a flanger as well. Okay. And then the other thing is that it does have compression, which ouch, sorry. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so pretty handy to have that in there. Able to control dynamics and a bunch of different ways of messing with the dynamics of the reverb as you're playing with it. So, is this the best reverb I've ever used, the best sounding one? Yeah, I'm not sure. I still like Valhalla Vintage Verb. That's kind of my go-to. But just because this one has some fun stuff kind of built into it, yeah, you can do the same thing by combining effects and making chains and what have you in Bitwig. And it's really built for that. It makes it really easy. But on the other hand, kind of having this stuff built in here and just being able to open it up and play with some different things, some different sounds, the saturation and everything. For me, that's just kind of cool. And then the LFO that's built into this and actually works now is great. So yeah, I like the Soundspot plugins. Now, here's the one negative. They do have different presets and it's worth going through them, but I would expect to be able to click on this default and where it says default here, this rectangle, and just pull up the rest of the presets. Doesn't work that way. You have to click load. You have to find out which one you like. Go into here and choose each one of these and then listen to it, see if you like it. oh, there's no way to go to the next one. You got to click load. Go back into that same folder, click on the next one, try that one. And oh, by the way, maybe there's a default somewhere, but I haven't found it. So if I want to go back all the way to the default settings, for me, it's almost easier just to delete this plugin and put it back in there. So, it's not a big thing, but I find it annoying a little bit. I don't really even use those presets anymore. It's just playing around with it and getting the settings that I like based on whatever sound I'm working with. So there you have it. There's my, updated review of the Soundspot plugins. Like I said, I think when they're on sale, it's worth taking a look at them. Do they replace anything? Do they do anything that you can't do with Bitwig's stock effects? I don't think so. But they've got a nice interface. They're fun to play around with. So, for that reason, I would say, sure, give them a look. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it was informative. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.